What is up, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to another Modern Warfare video, man. Today we're actually going to be going and ranking every single SMG in the game because I actually want to see if the Vector is the best or not, because a lot of people say the Vector is great, it's insane, but the only downside to it is the ADS speed and the reload speed kind of sucks. But up close, mid-range, and long-range, it feels like it's one of the best SMGs to actually go after people. So we're going to be testing a whole bunch of things. We're going to put every gun up against each other: the AUG, P90, MP5 Uzi, PP19, MP7 Striker, and the Vector. We're going to put them up against close range, mid-range, long range, the recoil pattern, and all that kind of stuff to see how they actually go and how long they take to kill people in all those distances. So let's hope that the Vector actually comes out on top. Guys, before we get into the video, leave me a comment down below telling me which SMG do you think is the best in the entire game. Let me know down in the comments below. Drop a like on this video if you guys are new around here and you haven't done so yet. And guys, subscribe to the channel with those notifications turned on. Don't leave that subscribe button red, it ain't worth it. Now let's get into this actual video right here, because I want to start off the list obviously with the AUG. We're gonna go in order with the weapons from which one is the first one you unlock and stuff. So the AUG, when you go at that close range, it takes 0.8 seconds to actually go and kill someone. Then you go over to mid-range, and this is where it kind of changes a little bit. It's 0.11 milliseconds to go and kill someone right there as well. Then you go down to the long range, and this is where it's kind of different. It's 21 milliseconds. Now I did have to tap fire each of these guns because they just weren't doing the job. They weren't holding on. Now at mid-range, it takes how many bullets? 4 shots to kill someone. Now let's go on to the next gun, which is going to be the P90, and hopefully this one could do better than the AUG just did. So up close, it takes 0.8 milliseconds. Once again, same thing as the AUG to go and kill someone. When you get to the mid-range, it does take 0.12, which is just 0.01 longer than the AUG. And then when you get to the super long range, I am not happy with this gun. It's at 0.29 milliseconds to kill someone from there, which to me is not something that I want to look for in an SMG. It's probably one of the worst. And then up close, or mid-range I should say, it takes 7 shots to kill someone, but thankfully the fire rate's pretty fast. Now the MP5 here, this is another one that I really do like a lot. Now the MP5 is 6 milliseconds up close to go kill someone, which I think is the best so far that we've seen. Mid-range, if it could, there you go, it did beat it. It beat the AUG at 0.10 milliseconds, and then we go to the long range, and if it could beat 0.21, which unfortunately it doesn't, it gets 0.22, it is not better than the AUG at long range, but it's still very, very good. And up close, as you guys can see, it only takes, or mid-range I should say, 4 shots. Now the Uzi is another gun I really wanted to test. The Uzi is a fun one, and this one's going to shock you. So up close, 0.7 milliseconds, pretty average there, but then when you get to the mid-range, and especially the long range, it's going to actually shock you guys. So 0.11 milliseconds for the mid-range. Again, that's on par with the AUG and stuff, but here is where this gun shines at 0.16 milliseconds at long range. I don't think we're going to see any gun that comes close to that, because that is actually really, really damn good. Now he did move there, so don't count that, but it did only take 5 shots to kill someone at mid-range. Now the PP19 Bison, this is a very good one as well. So up close, I like it. It's on par with all the other guns at 7 milliseconds. Mid-range, it's kind of faulty here. Look with the MP5 at 12 milliseconds. I was kind of hoping for 10-ish for that one right there. And then at long range, it takes 0.23, which again isn't that bad, but it's not as good as the guns that we have seen, and it does only take 4 shots mid-range. The MP7 is a gun that might shock you guys right here. So it takes 0.7, it's looking good, it's looking average. You go to the mid-range shots, it goes all the way up to 15 milliseconds, and then you go to the long range, and that's actually kind of fast at 0.19 right there. That's not too bad. Going on to see how many shots it takes, this is where I was shocked. It took 6 shots mid-range. Now the Striker 45, before we get on to the last weapon here, this is the UMP. You guys know what it is. 9 milliseconds. It's iffy. That's kind of like the guns that they do on mid-range. Again, 9 milliseconds. So from the close range and mid-range, it only takes 9 milliseconds, and then 22 at the long range. So this gun's pretty average. Up close, it kind of sucks. Now the last gun, or before we do that, it only does does take 3 shots. I should have said that. That is really good. Now, the Vector is the last gun that we want to see how long it takes to actually go and take people out, and that is really good. That is tied, I believe, with the MP5 at 6 milliseconds up close. That is crazy. That's way too fast. Now, when you go to the mid-range, again, it's one of the better weapons at 8 milliseconds, and then the long range, that's the second best, just falling after the Uzi at 21 milliseconds. Now, the shots it does take, it's kind of shocking. It takes 6, but it does shoot very fast. Now let's check out, that's how long it takes to aim down sights with the AUG, 6 milliseconds. And the recoil control isn't that bad. It goes up and to the right, not that high. It's kind of controllable, so I kind of do like that. Now the P90, again, 0.6 milliseconds to aim down sights. This is without attachments whatsoever, and the recoil is a little worse than the AUG, but again, it's not the worst. If you guys could throw in attachments that could control it, that's not that bad. The MP5, this one is pretty fast at 0.5 milliseconds to aim down sights, and again, the recoil is pretty much tied with the AUG right there, so that isn't too bad. I thought the MP5 was going to be worse. The Uzi, which is so far the fastest one, is again at 0.6 milliseconds, tied with the AUG and the P90, so that's pretty good right there. And look at that recoil control you have on this gun. If you're going for long range shots, man, I think it's the Uzi you might want to try to use out. Now the PP19, 0.5 milliseconds. That has probably the fastest we've seen so far with the MP5, but the recoil again is not that good. Like, it does steady out when it gets to the top there, but it's not that good. Here's the best ADS speed, the MP7, really good at 4 milliseconds, and I thought it was going to be a little nicer to control the recoil on this one, but it wasn't. And guys, I wasn't holding the joysticks whatsoever, so just know this is without attachments and without holding the joysticks. 7 milliseconds to aim down sights, that's a little on the higher side, and this one goes to the left. So if you're used to using all the other guns and then you try to play with this, it's confusing. It messes with your brain, man. You don't expect to be looking in that direction. Now the Vector here, this is one where I thought the ADS was going to be very slow, and you guys are going to see it. It's at 0.08. That is probably the slowest out of all of them, and it does feel like that in game, but the recoil control again is not that bad. You would expect it to be way worse with this gun firing so fast, but it's actually literally not even that bad. Now I want to show you guys a chart here. And on this chart, the red colors are the worst performing guns for those categories. So like close range, for example, you can see the Striker is the worst. The green is the best. So we got the MP5 and the Vector tied at 0.06 milliseconds. And then for the mid-range, best again is the Vector at 0.08. The Striker is second at 0.09, and the MP5 is third at 0.10. Now the best for the long range, once again, is the Vector at second and the Uzi at first. But the worst, and it's like really bad, you guys can see it right there, is the P90 at 0.29, and then the PP19 at 0.23. So if I were gonna go and rate every single one of these guns, like on terms of performance, how fast the ADS and the recoil control and stuff like that, I'm gonna have to say I would give it the Vector first, because it outperforms all the guns in most distances. The only gun that outperforms it is at long distance, and that's the Uzi. But mid-range and close range, the Vector is the stronger gun out of all of them. Up close, it is tied with the MP5, but at mid-range, it does beat the MP5. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Vector the #1 spot on that. Second, I'm probably gonna have to go with the MP5. Like, if you look at the chart here, the MP5 does not look bad whatsoever, so I'm gonna have to go with that one. It's good at close and mid-range. And then third, I don't know, this is where it gets a little more confusing, but I'm gonna have to give it to the Uzi, because if you're using it for long range, if you're going for those long range shots, man, the Uzi is the one you definitely want to use. And a lot of people don't look at the Uzi like that, but it's really good. After that, I'd probably throw it to the MP7, and then at the 5th place, I'd give it to the AUG. 6, I'm sorry Striker, but you just underperform every SMG up close, so you're getting the 6th place for that one, because SMGs are made for those up close ones. The PP19 is probably going to be at 7th, with the P90 at 8th, which I don't want to put the P90 at 8th, but just because of that long range, it's the worst performing one by a long shot from all the guns at long distance. So I have to kind of give it the last spot for that one. Like, I would switch it with the PP19, but the PP19 is not that bad when compared to the P90. Like, they're both tied for mid-range, and the PP19 does better up close. So the P90 does do less. It underperforms when comparing it to the PP19. So that is it, guys. That is the updated list from what I think is 1 to 8 best SMGs in the game. If you guys could go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know which one you think is your number 1. I have to say, the Vector, just level it up, guys. Use it and just smash people with it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here with those notifications turned on. Don't leave that button red, and drop a like, and let me know down in the comments if you made it this far into the video. Just comment something super random like orange bananas. I don't even know. Just go ahead and write that. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.